Hi everyone, this is acyuta-bhava from Nightlight Astrology, and today I'm going to be doing another birth chart demonstration as a way of promoting my upcoming class and also as a way of giving some of you at home some tips for how to read birth charts. Before I do that, I want to, of course, as you know, I'm in promotion mode right now, so I'm going to show you my course on my website. Go to nightlightastrology.com, click on the courses page, go to the first year course. It's called Ancient Astrology for the Modern Mystic. It's a 1-year program in Hellenistic astrology. You get all the details there. We have a couple of different payment options. Early bird payment, you save about $500, 12-month monthly payment plan, and also need-based tuition for those who might be on a tight budget. So lots of ways. Hopefully the course is very accommodating for people of all different budgets. The program starts in June. It meets about 30 times over the course of a year. We also have 12 guest lectures. There's a ton of content in class and outside of class. All of the classes are recorded, so you can take them live in the webinars, come in, participate, or you can follow along remotely as your schedule allows. So if you have any questions, feel free to email us, info@nightlightastrology.com. Now, what I'm doing today is a birth chart demo to show you about how to notice what's going to be really important in a person's life. So there are some simple tips that obviously I teach this a lot more elaborately in my course, but I always try to provide people at home who are studying, who may not have the time or energy to take a course of mine, or maybe any course, to give you some tips for how to read charts if you're developing your practice on your own. So in kind of this chart example that I'm using today, with permission from one of my clients, I want to focus on two things. One, how to notice what's really important in a person's life. Where can you see that in a chart? Where will it really stand out? And then two, what is a really simple, quick chart delineation technique that can help you see what's going on in a person's life? What is the most important topic or theme that's being activated by the planets right now, so that you know what season of karma a person is in, what kinds of events, activities, themes, etc., are prominent. So what I want to focus on is when you first open a chart, one of the things that ancient astrologers told us is that planets in their own sign or exaltation, planets that are in angular houses, will often speak very loudly. Why is this? For example, in this chart, what we see is that in the traditional 7, we have the Sun and Mercury in a succedent house, the 11th, the Moon in a cadent house, the 9th, Saturn and Mars in a cadent house, the 3rd, and we have Jupiter in an angular house, but retrograde and just about to leave that house in Scorpio down in the 4th, an angular house. So all of that really, it's really nowhere near as potent as this. Venus in her own sign in an angular house with the lot of fortune. Now, I won't go into a full analysis right now about what the lot of fortune is. I do take care of that in my 2nd year program. When a planet is in its own sign, one of the things that you'll notice is that the planet, it's almost like having a good hair day, or having one of those days where you feel like your skin is shining, you feel really healthy, you feel really fresh, you feel really good and vital, you feel like you're in your own element. When a planet is like that, it really sings in the life. It really shines out in the life. It really stands forth. Now, in addition to that, if a planet that is in its own sign is also amplified by being in an angular place called krematistikos in Greek, which basically means it has the power. One of the meanings is that it has the power to speak as an oracle. It has the power to broadcast very strongly about or regarding the life of the native, the chart owner. So we have an angular Venus in her own sign, and then it's amplified by the lot of fortune, which in a sense is sort of like, we'll just keep it simple today, and we'll say that it's just like a power. It's an even more of an emphasis on Venus. It's like a little power up for Venus. So we know that Venus is very important in this person's life. Now, in the 10th house, the place that was called praxis, we know that this is going to be a place where action in the world takes place. Often that's going to be career, but more broadly speaking, what kinds of themes, events, what god or goddess, so to speak, is presiding over the activities of the life in terms of our endeavors and our ambitions in the world, or the the course of life, the journey of life, or the plot line, and how it's shaped, especially in the public realm. So Venus would mean in the 10th house that this person does something Venusian for a living, or that there's a strong Venusian component to their profession, or that their life is influenced very profoundly by Venus in terms of the way they make choices, or the course that they chart in the social civic arena. Now, that could mean a lot of different things. Venus is the goddess of the arts. Venus would be related to people work or harmonizing work, or someone who is pleasing or even beautiful to others. Venus could be a sign in that place of someone who works with food, or is a chef, or someone who's an artist, or someone who works with women. There's a lot of variety there. In a reading, you never want to go directly for one prediction. You want to say, look, what I see is that Venus is very active in your life, very busy, which is what I said in the reading that I gave this individual, and that it's likely that Venus plays a strong role in your life path, especially in the public world and probably your career. So I did not know this person. In fact, I was doing a recording for them. And so I just looking at that, that stands out. Now, the other reason that Venus stands out to me in this chart, I was doing a forecast reading for this individual, and the other reason it stands out is that in terms of all of the different transits happening right now, and there's a few, there's others we could talk about. I'm just going to focus on Venus for today. We know that in the next 2 years, the planet Uranus is going to have a conjunction with the planet Venus. This will get started in 2022, and it extends into 2023. And so I won't give the exact dates. I just want to deliver the gist of the interpretation. And so we can start creating a delineation. We know, for example, I'm just going to write this down for you guys. We know Venus is prominent in the career, strong and healthy. Okay, so it's a pretty good Venus. We know that Uranus is going to conjoin with Venus in 2022 and 2023. So let's form a delineation. Revolution in career, revolution of style, disruption to habits or norms in career, or related to Venusian themes. Now, that could mean, first and foremost, Uranus, since May of 2018, when it entered the sign of Taurus, has been slowly asking the native to do or embody Uranian themes and principles: revolution, emancipation, defiance, resistance to authority, the need for inventiveness and experimentation, originality, the need to individuate, perhaps a kind of rebellious or reckless streak, disruption. And this has been happening in the career house in terms of how the person interacts with the world, or perhaps if they're an artist, how they, their aesthetic or their relationships in the workplace. Now, it could also have an impact on Venus's natural significations. These are all topical significations because we're reading Venus by house and by house rulership. When we talk about natural significations, we're talking about things like women, sisters, sex, marriage, love, romance. Moon, typically a little bit more marriage, but Venus definitely in your relationships, oftentimes your intimacy, your chemistry, things like that. So could this person also be going into a phase where there's greater need for originality or experimentation in love, sex, romance? Could there be themes, the need for greater independence or freedom in love and relationships, especially if you're in one that feels a little bit like stuck? Yeah, those things could come through as well, because Venus's topical significations are also going to be activated by Uranus. Now, more broadly speaking, again, with Venus ruling the 10th and in the 10th, likely that something Venusian that she does for a living or that she does in the public eye will be changing in a Uranian way. So that's the gist of the forecast that you create. You're looking for what speaks, what's loud in the chart, and is that very loud prominent planet going to be impacted by another transiting planet. So Venus by Uranus, this stood out in this case. This formed one of the core components of this transit report that I made for her. Now, what I was shocked to find afterward, and hopefully you found those techniques interesting, look for what's angular, look for what's dignified, look for transits to what is angular and what is dignified, that, and then put together a kind of comprehensive delineation based on both the house placement and rulership, or rulerships if you want to, and the planet's natural significations. So Venus rules the career house. Venus also represents love. So you kind of, and then you kind of put together a concise interpretation, just like you heard me give. And you might want to write that down in advance. I'm at this point, I can kind of do it off the cuff, because I'm so used to talking about these things. But, in the beginning, I did a lot of writing of my delineations down so that I would at least have a cheat sheet to refer to when speaking to someone. Okay. So what I found really profound, about this afterward was that this individual, wrote back to me, and what they said was that they are, in the arts. They are I will, to keep an anonymity, I will just say that they make a living doing something related to the arts. Very explicit. And so that, first of all, that's just so cool to see. It's so cool to see that, yes, when you see a prominent angular planet, well dignified, that planet, those themes in that area of life will take on really dramatic, role in the lifetime. And also the native indicated that they were very excited to hear about this Uranian news, because their style and their aesthetic and new projects and innovative ideas, and basically a big kind of renaissance, shakeup, awakening period has indeed been coming into their career for the past couple of years. And they feel like they're about to have a breakthrough creatively in their professional life. And this would certainly coincide with that. And now they feel ready, also knowing what kind of gods are working around in that area of life, which demigods are, hurling the lightning bolts, or bringing out the sunshine. And honestly, Uranus and Venus can be very eccentric and original in how they look at beauty, love, sex, and those things being incorporated into the career. Well, this person was really excited to find out about that. So from my standpoint, it took me a long time in my career to learn how to, the main thing is to make the main thing the main thing. It took me a long time to get to the point where my work became more simple, concise, and focused. Sometimes people will mistake that for, being kind of elementary or boring. But what I found is that if you're able to look at a chart and see what's loudest, what's probably most important to a person, and when that theme is going to pop in what kind of way, that's typically what people are most eager to hear about. So anyway, if you're at home practicing, I hope that this little technique has been useful. Look for angular planets that are in their own domicile. Look for transits of that planet, rulerships, both by house and topically, that natural rulerships that the planet has. Try to come up with a concise delineation, some concise periods of time. So when you do that, people will, as long as you keep it balanced, people will be really thankful for knowing what kind of karmic season they're coming into. So I hope that you have found this little video helpful today. And if you're interested in my programs, I'd love to study more with you. There's nothing like being able to take 100 hours over the course of a year and go really, really deeply into all of the delineation techniques, the philosophy, the underlying spiritual practice of astrology. Why do we do this? And really making it a solid foundation if you're an astrology lover. So, all right, that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.